This has to do with black and white thinking. Remember, that was one of the top 8 cognitive gaps that lead to meltdowns. And so for the older person who struggles with overreactions and temper, we're going to start with the top, and we're going to talk about black and white thinking, okay? And so visually, you can easily show this with just black and white markers. If you are concerned that you don't have the artistic ability to make the bottom part where there's 5 shades of gray, you can go to a paint store and get 5 different shades of gray, escalating from white to black, and have 3 other shades in the middle. So don't feel like you have to be like a brilliant artist to do this. Simple solution, and then you can just paste them next to each other on a paper to show the difference. Let's start with the top. Black and white thinking is your brain only has 2 categories to organize the world into. Call them cubbies, right? So you break the world into all good on the white side or all bad, right? Everything's fair or everything's unfair, right or wrong. I'm going to keep this or I'm going to reject it. This is easy. This is impossible. So you can see that, and people who tend to be very up and down and who react very strongly and angrily tend to have this type of thinking. But here's the problem with this. You know, if you're having a good day and everything's going just right, then you're on number 1. You're on the white side. If you only have these 2 cubbies and one thing goes a little bit wrong, that no longer fits into number 1, the white one. So therefore you go crashing all the way from everything's great to this is the worst, it's all bad, I'm having the worst day, right? The whole day. Something happens at 9:45 a.m. and maybe you know the child who sees you at 3:45 and says, I had the worst day. But something happened at 8:45. They didn't compartmentalize, right? So black and white thinking breaks everything down into either or. It's extremes, and there you have the kindling for meltdowns. But there are more colors than just black and white. There are more shades of gray in between that. If you were doing a painting project or for art or on your walls at home. And so then I draw out this, and I still have a number line to add just a little numerical correspondence. And so you can see that we still have white and black. So you still have best and worst, fair, unfair. You still have all those same extremes. But we've just shoehorned these 3 additional shades in there. Well, what does that do for someone? If you have 5 mental compartments to organize the world in, all of a sudden you're not quite as extreme of a person. You might say, it's no longer the best or worst day. You can say, if you read across the top level of writing, I had a good day. Or number 3, I had an okay day, maybe even a bad day or a bad moment. And if you are good, okay, or bad, all those are workable, right? You can deal with that, right? In there, in 2, 3, and 4, you can insert problem solving, you can work it out, you can negotiate and compromise. You know, if you're trying to negotiate with someone and then you're like, that is the worst offer I ever got, right? You're going to blow up the entire negotiation. But if you can be like, all right, that was okay, but can we get to good? Things are so much more workable. Life is much more dealable. Same thing if your child gets very worked up around school. Look at the next row of words, starting with easy, kinda easy, medium, hard, or impossible. Again, if your child is avoiding homework or melts down when they see an assignment, it's probably because they're black and white thinking and they're thinking this is impossible, right? Well, let's see if you can insert, can you label it with 2, 3, and 4? Does it have to be impossible? Well, maybe it's hard. Maybe that was medium. So start to have your child rate their day, their experiences on this 5-point scale using the grays, and teach them over time that they can have shades of gray thinking. And therefore, if they can live in the grays, in that gray area, 2, 3, and 4, they're going to have a much less volatile life. They'll be able to solve problems, and they'll be able to negotiate with people much better.